Good morning. Happy Monday. Call the Infrastructure Committee to order. Notice meeting was properly posted on May the 4th. Item 1 is approval of minutes of April 25.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 2 is an update on our courthouse elevator project, if any.
Yeah, we're moving along according to schedule. Kone and their construction team will be here on Wednesday to map out where in the alley they can place dumpsters, containers, and various equipment. So we're on schedule.
All right. Thank you, Keith. Any questions? Motion to receive the update.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3 is discussion of possible action on a service agreement with Vicinity.
Nothing new here.
Okay. Continue to make progress on the other identification of.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. No action, I guess. 4, discussing possible action on an update from staff on the capital projects for TIP 2. Stacy's not here. He indicated that he didn't have anything on that, so no action there. 5 is our TIF 2 and TIF 2A budgets. Again, Stacy's not present. Same explanation, no action. 6 is discussion and possible action on the XXX project. Michael, do you have anything?
I do not.
Okay. Miles, nothing. No action there. 7, discussion and possible action on our capital improvements list. Anything? No action.
All right.
8, discussion possible action on the transfer, maintenance, and repair of the security infrastructure equipment in and around the courthouse, the annex, ICB, etc. Any new here?
Last Friday, we conducted interviews with all of the responses to the RFI. It was very successful. We had a list of questions provided to the vendors prior to the interviews just to get some direct answers on how and what they would recommend to move forward, what their solutions meant. And so basically, to give you a summary of what was received, I'm kind of at a point of whether we need to gather more information, if there's more you would like to know, or what the next step is if we're ready for an RFP or whatever other steps you guys would be interested in. So the information I received from the interviews, 3 of the 7 were manufacturers. So they had information on the x-ray machines that we have, on the archway metal detectors that we have, whether it was not modern or if there was new technologies or other solutions. The other vendors were more of management type companies that could come in, manage the different moving parts of our security infrastructure, the different parts being access controls, security, cameras, alarms, and just the entryway that we have the machine and equipment there. So I talked with Keith, not Stacy. I talked with Keith about that, and what it looks like is there are vendors out there that can come in. A couple indicated that our equipment is not so far off removed that it could not currently be maintained. However, it is not the most modern, and it certainly isn't the most technically savvy equipment that's out there, but it is current. Some parts may no longer be manufactured, but there's a surplus of them, so they feel like the life is good for a little bit longer. They would, of course, everybody would be happy to participate in anything that comes next in the process if there would need to be cost proposals requested and things like that. The RFI process does not indicate cost. It's not a component. So that's where we're at right now to kind of figure out what direction we want to go in. If we want to just bring in manufacturers, if we're wanting to replace equipment, that would be for you all to decide. If we want to bring in somebody to come and manage, which is kind of part of the discussion so far, we would need to package that up into an RFP and then ask for cost proposals at that point.
And Chantel, has the sheriff's office been involved in this RFI initiative? And are they apprised of what you just told us?
I have not given myself, I haven't met with them and given them the update. I do know they're involved a little bit through conversation between the vendors and facilities. I think they have been a part of this process. And then also IT. I haven't been able to give them the summary yet either. So we're kind of at this point of what direction are you guys interested in going in? And then having all parties be a part of this RFP process. Everybody was a part of drafting the RFI. And then knowing that the responses came in. And so we're all in the same situation, just wondering what direction and what the timeline is for this.
I'd kind of like, my personal preference would be for those groups to get back together, review this information, and then make a recommendation to us
Sure.
as to whether we want, what direction we need to head.
Okay, yeah.
I'd kind of like to see them too. If there are things that you can send us, I mean, they're proposals and stuff, because.
But there's no pricing associated with any of this. I think to move it forward a little faster, we take this approach, build an RFP and put it out as quickly as we can so that we know what it's going to cost.
Well, if the RFP is ultimately the recommendation of the group, right? I mean, there's the sheriff's office, your group, IT. If that's the direction we need to go, yes. But if there is another alternative here, then perhaps that is what comes out of.
Do you know of any other alternative?
And like Miles said, I mean, I appreciate Chantel's update, but
I don't know what I don't know.
I'd like to read the information as well. So,
Sure, I can provide the information that was given to us throughout the RFI process, the answers that kind of came from the interviews, provide that to you all. And also, we'll get with the sheriff's office and
Okay.
IT.
Yeah.
And we'll bring it back to you guys at the next meeting.
perfect. You good, Michael? Miles?
Yep.
Okay. So a motion to receive the update.
So you're gonna get that to us?
I can send that to you all today
Okay, thank you.
by the end
Motion
of
to
the day.
receive update.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 9, discussion possible action regarding the potential uses of the former OCSO Spencer substation. Chantel?
It was requested that we try to send this out for RFP to see general interest in the community of who would be interested in leasing this facility. There were some already previously known interested parties, and we wanted to make this a competitive process. I met with Keith and also who referred me to the District 1 staff to try to collect as many interested parties as possible to send this to. We received one response from Summit Youth and Sports Association, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. I have a summary to show you kind of what they're about, but the RFP was very simple. It was a one-page, and I have a copy to provide that to you all if you would like to look at that. That was received by the BOCC, if you would like.
I have a copy.
Okay.
You have one? Mike, you have one? Is there a motion to receive that document?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I believe Ms. Williams is here. Is that correct?
Yes. If there are questions that you'd like to ask her or that I cannot answer, she and I have had a couple follow-up conversations to understand her proposal. So if there's any
Well,
questions,
I
we
thought
could.
perhaps we'd give her an opportunity to just highlight what it is that she would like to do beyond her response.
Sure.
So, Ms. Williams, welcome.
Good morning, gentlemen, and thank you for this opportunity. I'm the founder of Summit Youth and Sports Association. It's a 501c3 nonprofit that levies activities in sports to serve underprivileged youth. We reduce racial, economic, and all of those biases and help our kids overcome. So what I presented to you is just an overview of what we're looking at using the facility for. I'm a resident of Spencer, and we noted that that building had been not in none used for about maybe 4 to 5 years. And also I'm a teacher, a former teacher from Star Spencer Mid-High School and other Oklahoma City public areas. So we determined what we needed was a space for our children, in keeping in line with the goal of the county for reduce of, we have a high rate of suicide. Obesity is of high concern, as well as the mental mental health is a big issue. And we see our students just walking around with really nothing to do. And we know that's concerning not only for them, but for the residents there. And we thought that we can mitigate that as much as possible. The center that we're proposing would be along the lines of a Boys and Girls Club, if you think about that infrastructure. However, we would offer dance class, music class. Why? Because I was a music teacher, so I'm it's not objective with that part. And so we want to offer summer camps as well as summer school, fall breaks, catch all of those times where kids are not in the public schools, and teaching them. We're looking at teaching them about entrepreneurship. We've also partnered with a company that's going to teach them about ag. Well, not just ag. Technology in ag, use of drones for farming and soil sampling, all of that. And really, the whole premise of it is to provide a safe place for them, help them to grow. Um, that's what we're looking at.
Thank you. And so, as Chantel touched on, there were several different people, 4 or 5 that I'm aware of, that reached out about possibly renting that building. And so, as to make it a fair process, we chose this RFP to get proposals back. Ms. Williams is the only group that responded to our RFP. So that's kind of a little additional background. There was multiple interest in the building. However, only one group chose to respond to the public notice and proposal request. Do you all have any questions for Ms. Williams?
No, I'm sitting here actually reading the website right now. It looks like you're currently in a building over on Martin Luther King, 1701.
We're not in
Right.
there actively. We have a
Okay.
child, we've been licensed through DHS to have a child care. So our program is there, or it's on hold to be there. We want to actually transfer that to Spencer, and this building would provide, or a portion of the building would provide an awesome place for that, because we know that that area, I think the nation is experiencing child care issues, and especially in an area where people have limited mobility. We thought that using it there would be a great idea for the parents, kind of a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
So
And Ms. Williams, I know that you've had probably multiple conversations or emails with Keith and Chantel, and you were provided a lease example.
yes,
And I think in those discussions, it was mentioned that there were things that needed to be done to the building. And I noticed in your proposal, there's a build out of a kitchen area. I think that would be captured in the initial part of the lease.
okay.
So
If I can, Mr. Bill, if I can speak to that, there is an option that we would be able to build out, not even build out, but build the kitchen area as opposed to having the county doing it. And so we're flexible in that regard. We just know that we got to feed them. That's a big
Right.
thing. And as it stands, where the building is now, there's I think it was an employee's room or lounge that's upstairs. So we just seek to just put a kitchen in the lower area, just below that second floor for safety and accessible reasons. So
okay. What I'd like to do is to get you and Mr. Monroe together, if this board is desirous of that, and moving forward to come up with a potential lease to present to the board on this space, and whether or not allowing you to build out in a county building is the best option, or us doing it and then recouping that cost up front on the initial part of the lease. So that would be what I would like to see happen here. And then if lease terms could be reached that were amenable, present that to the board for their consideration.
That would be wonderful. One consideration that I ask you all to think about is summer is fast approaching, and the kiddos will be out of school probably maybe the second to the last week or last week of May. We want to make sure that we can come behind and capture that. If time permits, that's what we're working on, which is why we were amenable to, finding the people. We have a group of people, group of residents that stand ready to go in and do whatever needs to be done so that we can be ready to receive our kids, provided it's okay by.
I think if the lease could be worked out, the next board meeting is the middle of May. So it's approximately in that time frame. The lease language worked out, all of the necessary requirements in terms of insurance, et cetera, goes through DA's legal review. I think that time frame could be achievable to get it on to the board for consideration. But that's my thoughts. Any issues?
Where do you get, where's the majority of your funding come from?
Majority comes from donations. We're a very young nonprofit. We were founded in 2016, and for a period of time, it was just we were just out in the community serving. So at this point, we've begun a campaign, a funding campaign for these very purposes, and we're hoping to ramp this up. Additionally, we've identified other sources of our funding, which would be, excuse me, growing hydroponics. We're looking at growing microgreens as a way of continually stabilizing the funding and needs of the organization itself. So there's a teaching component with that as well. We want to teach the kiddos how to do that, and that's where we are.
Your district?
Hmm?
Said your district?
Well, I stated what I would like to see done, so that would be my motion, I guess, that Ms. Williams get with Mr. Monroe. They work out a lease, get all the necessary documents that would accompany that lease, and get it up to the DA for review and possible recommendation or possible approval by the board at their next meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Williams, for coming down.
Thank you.
All righty. Citizens' participation? Board comments. Mr. Taylor?
No, thank you.
Miles?
Nothing.
None here. New business? Motion. Thank you. Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. By my watch, we've hit our time. Call the PBA advisory to order. Notice the meeting was properly posted on May the 4th. Item 1 is discussion possible action of our minutes of April 25. Oh, sorry. Eager. Huh? Does it put it in PBA?
No.
It is not.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah. Sorry, Michaela.
Sure it is. We can run over to BOE real quick. You're there on the phone today. Whatever they're.
Anyone in particular?
No.
Okay. Just in general, fine. Okay, we'll do a reboot. Being past 10:15, call the PBA advisory to order. Notice the meeting was properly posted on May the 4th. Item 1 is discussion possible action on the minutes of April 25.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
2 is discussion possible action to receive an update on the ICB exterior envelope project.
Nothing new.
Okay, no action. 3, this item similar to what we just discussed in infrastructure. Discussion possible action regarding security and ICB, sheriff's personnel, equipment, installation of equipment, etc.
We'll proceed in like manner as the previous agenda.
Okay, don't see any action necessary there unless you all do. Citizens' participation. Board comments, Miles? Mr. Taylor?
Thank you.
None here, new business,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That one was